This Philippine conglomerate has got it all, from malls, banks, a shipping company, mining, logistics, and more. How does SM Investments rise above constant shifts in the business climate? Joining us now is SM Investments President, Ricky DyBuncio. Ricky, great to have you with us. You just got back from Davos, from the World Economic Forum. What is the buzz right now about the Philippines and Asia?
Well, I think, Rick, first of all, thanks for having me here. When I was in Davos, right, normally we tend to be so focused on our day-to-day stuff in the Philippines that we don't realize that there's actually a much bigger world out there, right? And being in Davos really exposed us to all of the global leaders in Europe, in America, Latin America. And interestingly is that the issues we face here are actually the same issues that which they face there as well, right?
All global corporate leaders,
right? You know, whether it be, energy transformation,
inflation,
generative AI, inflation, how we're going to work in a fast-changing global economy,
geopolitics, and I'm sure the big talk of the town is the presidential elections in the U.S.
No question. Not just the U.S. though. There's been several, or there will be several elections this year throughout the world. But clearly, the most important one is the U.S. elections, right? But having said that, right, being in Davos, allowing me to attend the sessions and meet a lot of other corporate CEOs there, it's interesting that there's a lot of focus actually in Asia, right?
And is there a lot of interest in terms of investments here in the country? Because our president has traveled the world in his 18 months in office.
That actually is very true, and it actually helped expose the Philippines, right? Asia, for a lot of them, is like still the growth sector, right? And within Asia, they look at which country is there that's going to be growing fast, has a very good demographics, and the one that stands out is the Philippines, right? And I've actually got so many meeting requests, and even today, I get constantly emails from the people I've met asking for opportunities to invest in the Philippines, right?
Because we have a very strong population that relies on domestic demand.
The demographics that we have, the big young population, is really a big advantage of the Philippines, right? And that's what people look for, particularly those who are after consumer-driven sectors, right? And the interest is there, not just for AI, renewable energy, logistics, mining, all of the things which actually the government is pushing for this next couple of years is actually investors' minds. And I really think that the government being out there constantly speaking to the business communities overseas, it again reintroduces the Philippines as an investment destination for the world.
And of course, SM Investments is a great ambassador, basically, to the global corporate landscape, being a proxy for the Philippine economy. You're in supermarkets, apartment stores, real estate, food, logistics, and mining.
Yes.
A whole range of businesses. And tell us, which businesses of SM Investments did very well in 2023? Ricky?
To be honest, right, all of our businesses did quite well in 2023. And our financial results have shown that. And in fact, initially we thought it was just going to be like revenge spending, but I think that's pretty much over, right? We're back to the more normal type of spending by the consumers we have. And it's good for us that the economy continued to grow. We expect it to continue to grow despite inflationary concerns, but I believe that we're seeing the trend that it's starting to go down, right? So that should really help as well our consumers. And us being a consumer-driven group, and that's why people view us as a proxy for the economy, right?
But how were you able to overcome, Ricky, the high inflation and the elevated levels of interest rates? Because the recent surveys from Okta, Social Weather Stations, and Pulse, they say that their main complaint is basically inflation, high prices.
You know, if you look back at the history of the Philippines, right, there's never been a period, despite all the different crises we've gone through, where consumer power has actually gone down. It's always been on a positive trend. Never will we have a negative in consumer growth, right? And what we've seen during these past couple of months where inflation was concerned is that the basket composition remained the same, but some of them have actually downtraded, right? But the basket is the same, right? And then as far as, let's say, the property is concerned, we just have to work with our buyers, give them extended payment terms perhaps, as one way to help them in terms of being able to finance their purchases, right? But so far, it hasn't really been an issue for us, and the sentiment is still very robust for consumer power. And the thing, though, is that you will see that the economy, right? The growth of the economy is actually going much faster in the provincial areas, right? So for us, right, if you look at our footprint, we're pretty much still heavily dependent on the national capital region. So we view that in the provincial areas, which are more faster growing, there's a lot more opportunities for groups like us, for the kind of products that we offer to the consumers. That's where the growth is for us. And that's where our focus has been.
Where in particular in the Philippines do you see expansion and further growth outside of the national capital region?
The entire Vismin is really a growth market for us, right? So if you look at our growth for all of our businesses, it's really more towards the Visayas Mindanao area. That's where we think the potential is, because there's still so many unbanked in those areas. There's so many people who still need to be able to access modern trade in those areas. So that's our growth opportunity, right? And it's not just for our core businesses of property, banking, and retail, but also for our portfolio investment companies. Logistics for one of them, right? And that's why we invested in logistics, because we view that...
Which is to go.
Which is to go and airspeed. We have two, actually. There's to go and airspeed. So we feel that for the Vismin areas and even up north, to grow even faster, you need good logistics to deliver goods and services to the people.
All right. Apart from NCR and Vismin, are you also looking at regional expansion beyond the Philippine archipelago? Further expansion in China, maybe in Southeast Asia like Vietnam, which are growth markets?
At the moment, we're not. We believe that our competitive strength is understanding the consumer sentiment in the Philippines, right? That is our strength. And we believe that there's so much more opportunities for us to be able to provide better services to the Filipino people in Vismin. And so our growth is really going to be still focused on the Philippines. Opportunities are here. That's where we think we can add more value and help more Filipinos in terms of delivering them better services. And so that's where we focus on.
All right, apart from inflation, elevated interest rates, geopolitical tensions, what could be the other headwinds that could impact SM Investments businesses in 2024?
We don't see anything internally that could really have a big impact on our business, right? It's really more external factors which really worry us, right? Because whether it be geopolitics, which could affect the supply chain, whether it be other financial shocks somewhere in the world, which could affect as well sentiment, that is more of a concern for us, the external factors, not so much internal.
Do you see some external financial shocks taking place in 2024?
If you ask me personally, I don't, especially with inflation being controlled now pretty much all over the world. And we expect interest rates to start going down sometime in the second half of this year. And that should help as well in that sector.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word and for your insights. From the World Economic Forum to SM Investments, Ricky DyBuncio, President of SM Investments.
Thank you, Rico.